morning. Welcome to Rainbow International School's virtual learning program. This was prepared for grade 8 boys and girls in line with the directive set by the Ministry of Education in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Today we shall be discussing internal and external communication from chapter 9 from our textbook Business Studies 5th edition, authored by Karen Borrington and Peter Stimson. We shall be dividing the goals and objectives of this learning into 5 parts. Our learning expectancy for part 1 are seen on the screen. We have to know what effective communication is and its importance to business, to be able to differentiate internal from external communication, to learn about the process of effective communication, and to distinguish one-way from two-way communication. To begin with, let us first take the definition of the word communication. Communication is the transferring of a message from the sender to the receiver who understands the message. And when referred to the word message, it is the information or instructions being passed by the sender to the receiver. We all communicate with other people every day. We communicate with our families, we communicate at school, when we go shopping, when we chat with our friends, or when we use social media. Communicating with others is a natural part of life. Why do we need to study something which comes naturally to us? As we said, communication with others is a natural part of life. Okay, it must be effective though. It has to be effective and the sender should be understood. This means that the information or message being sent is received, understood, and acted upon in the way intended. For businesses, communication which is ineffective or which fails altogether can result in serious consequences. Now we shall be going to 2 types of communication, which is internal communication and external communication. And this is what the general topic is about for chapter 9. Let's first take up internal communication. Internal communication is between the members of the same organization. That means the same business, and the message should be conveyed to the workers and staff of the same business, okay, the same organization. Now, why do people within a business need to communicate with each other? In all organizations, it is necessary for people to communicate with each other in different ways. Without communication, we would all be working as individuals with no links with anybody else in the business we work in. The tasks of management in guiding, instructing, warning, and encouraging workers would become impossible. Now, in this slide, you will find common messages within the business area. We may find the first message like, please do not smoke in this area, in a notice corner, or it's found as a notice on a table or a poster perhaps. The second one is like, how many hours did you work last week? We can hear it from a manager who asks a worker. And some posters too can be considered messages. Like if there's a fire drill today, you will see this kind of message on the board. And a message delivered by a secretary or a clerk like when she makes that phone call, trying to call an engineer as soon as possible because their cutting machine has broken down. Now you'll find in this slide some other examples which will be discussed also in one of our activities during this video presentation. All this may be found on page 115 of your textbook. Okay? And the next type of communication we shall be discussing in this presentation is the external communication. External communication is between the organization and other organizations or individuals. This occurs when messages are sent between one entity or one business and another, or between the organization and the people other than the employees, like the customers. And you'll find here the different examples of external communication. We have ordering for goods from suppliers, sending information to customers about prices and delivery items, advertising goods and services, and asking customers to pay bills on time. It is just as important for a business to have a good external communication as good internal communication. The key features of both types are the same. The method of communication which can be used are also similar, although the growth of the internet and social networking has transformed how a business can communicate with the outside world. And on the next slide, we will see the main difference between internal and external communication. Now let's see how or why external communication has to work well. Well, it is really important to the image and efficiency of a business. If a company communicates ineffectively with suppliers, it may be sent the raw materials. If it sends inaccurate information to customers, they may buy a product from another company. Okay, so now we shall be discussing the next part of this presentation. It is the process of effective communication. There must be, the process begins with the sender. There must be a medium used, and the medium must be used to send the message to a receiver who is expected to be able to decode or understand what was sent. And then that's the time that the receiver will be sending response or feedback. That means the message is received and understood. As we can see, effective communication involves the following four features. Let's go to the um, other type of communication involved in the process of communication. We have the one-way and two-way communication. First, let's take up one-way communication. It involves a message which does not call for or require a response. It occurs when the receiver of a message has no chance to reply or respond to the message. As you can see in the illustration, we have there the last line, receiver has no chance to provide any feedback to a given message. The other type of communication, or the opposite of one-way communication, is the two-way communication. It is when the receiver gives a response to the message and there is a discussion made about it. It is when there is a reply or response from the receiver. Let's talk about the advantages of two-way communication, because in this type of communication, we have the process going on, unlike in the one-way communication. When there is a two-way communication, there is unexpected understanding and involvement. Understanding because it should become absolutely clear to the sender whether or not the person receiving the message has understood it and acted upon it. If they have not, then perhaps the message needs to be sent again and made clearer. Effective communication has not taken place until the message is understood by the receiver. And for involvement, both people are now involved in the communication process. The receiver feels more a part of this process. He or she can make a real contribution to the topic being discussed or communicated. This may help to motivate the receiver. Okay, now let's go to activity 9.1 and 9.2. They're found on pages 115 and 116 respectively. You may write your answers in your notebook. Answers may vary, however, and you may use the following issues to support your decision, like cost, speed, need for feedback, need for written evidence. And there may be other things that you might consider. For activity 9.3, we have there a case study communicating with workers. Please read the case study, then answer A, B, and C in your notebook. I have provided you with the guide answers here. Anyhow, you've got to write down your answers first before you go over these guide answers given to you. Okay? Also, in activity 9.4, found on page 118, we have there a table whereby you have to go back to the messages found on pages 114 and 115. You will try to figure it out whether each message is a one-way communication or if there's a two-way communication. Okay, for instance, like what we have here now, you, let's take for instance the notice on the table about the no smoking sign. It is not considered a two-way communication. Why? Because it can only be read. There's no way for the receivers to reply to it. And so on. Okay, for your revision and checkup quiz, you may go to this link and you'll find flashcards. Click on the flashcard, each flashcard, and you may find the definition or answers behind each flashcard. Okay, happy flashing. In here you will find the call to action or similar to homework agreement or task. In your weekly plan, you'll find there copy the revision summary about effective communication on page 118 in your copybook. It's very important that you always do this because it's like a summary of the topic taken up. And you yourself, when you see this revision summary, You may present the summary yourself in a way like as to how you have absorbed the learnings you have acquired from each lesson or presentation. And likewise, you have to complete and revise part one discussion. And that ends our video presentation today, and this is for part one only of chapter 9. I hope you enjoyed the viewing and you have learned something from this presentation. Thank you, and you will find in the video that follows our overview of the succeeding presentations that will be uploaded. Thank you very much and happy virtual learning. You'll find in here the overview of what we shall be looking forward to. For more parts, international business focus and exam style questions, discussing the booklet, MCQs, and the revision. Thank you once again.